every precaution they can. We're live in Manhattan.
Eric, in the 10 seconds before I lose you, what's it going to do to traffic tomorrow morning?
I think traffic's going to be the same that it is every morning, kind of tied up, and especially if they're searching and stopping cars. Just don't take the Brooklyn Bridge if you live in the city.
Indeed. Eric, thank you very much. I appreciate your report. And thank you for being with us tonight. Remember to keep your televisions and computers locked on Fox for the latest on the terror threat and the war on terror overseas. I'll see you.
The O'Reilly Factor from Los Angeles is on tonight. Did President Bush hang Attorney General John Ashcroft and FBI Director Robert Mueller out to dry over the 9/11 terrorist alert? We'll hear both sides. Former security chief for the Federal Aviation Administration says that agency is still in chaos and we are still in danger. And Lynn Cheney will be here to talk about her husband and American kids. Caution, you're about to enter a no-spin zone from L.A. Factor begins in 90 seconds.
News Live, I'm Kieran Chetry. New York police will be on high alert this Memorial Day weekend. This after word of uncorroborated threats with specific warnings regarding the Statue of Liberty and the Brooklyn Bridge. The NYPD alert follows yet another blunt warning from the Bush administration.
Al-Qaeda training camps in Afghanistan trained hundreds of these people. They're spread across the globe. They're in our country, and they're very well trained. We've seen their training manuals. And they're well financed. They're still getting money.
The defense secretary telling Congress more terror attacks on the U.S. are, quote, inevitable. And Secretary Rumsfeld also offering more support for President Bush's axis of evil remarks. Today, Rumsfeld told lawmakers that Iran, Iraq, and North Korea are developing weapons of mass destruction, as are Syria and Libya. He also says all of those countries are willing to give those weapons to terrorists. The government says that commercial pilots cannot carry guns in the cockpit. Bush administration officials saying guns could pose a distraction when pilots need to focus on flight details. They say armed marshals will protect people on board, and there's still no word if pilots will be allowed to carry non-lethal weapons such as stun guns. The pilots say they'll continue to push to be allowed to carry guns. And we'll be back with another update at the top of the hour. The O'Reilly Factor is up next here on Fox News.
Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly reporting from Los Angeles. Thank you for watching us tonight. Well, your humble correspondent caused more trouble on The Tonight Show last night, and that's the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. I just couldn't help it. When Jay Leno asked me about Hillary Clinton, I had to tell the truth. I just feel that Hillary is a socialist, you know, and I'm paying enough tax. She, you know, Hillary wants to take my money, your money, and Freddie's
Have you met her in person?
No one
never
my
met her.
money.
You know what's interesting? I'll tell you something. When you meet her, when you watch Bill Clinton on TV, he's very photogenic and friendly, and she comes off a little cold. You meet them in person.
She's nice and he's cold.
Yeah, he's a little standoffish, and
Right.
she's extremely nice and quite...
But it doesn't have anything to do with nice. It has to do with Hillary wants to take my money, your money, and
Yeah.
Freddie's money and give it to strangers. She's going to take our money.
I take my money. Wait a
No, she's going to... Freddie, trust me. She's taking your money.
I'm voting for Hillary Clinton.
Right? She's coming to your house. She's going to take your wallet right out of there. That was actor Freddie Prinze Jr. I was on the dais with. Now, some people say I'm misguided. Mrs. Clinton is certainly not a socialist, that extreme, but they're wrong. In the year 2001, Senator Clinton voted for almost every spending bill that crossed her desk. The Taxpayers Union says she is the biggest spending freshman senator in U.S. history. And the reason for that is Hillary Clinton believes that government has a right to take an enormous amount of money from affluent Americans and give it to other Americans who don't have much money. That is called the redistribution of income. Mrs. Clinton also believes in cradle-to-grave entitlements, that the government has a responsibility to make sure every American has a certain level of care paid for by working taxpayers. So what Mrs. Clinton wants for the USA is to take a huge amount of money from private citizens and give it to other citizens in a never-ending government merry-go-round. That's what they do in Sweden, Norway, and other quasi-socialistic countries. But it is not what the Founding Fathers had in mind for America. Now, the reason Mrs. Clinton is doing this is political, not ideological. She herself lives in splendor. 2 multi-million-dollar homes, all living expenses paid. So she's not a Spartan socialist in her personal life. But Mrs. Clinton knows the only way she can get elected to public office is by pandering to Americans who don't have very much, promising to give them more. And the key word here is give them. So I did call Mrs. Clinton a socialist, and I'm not sorry. She will run for president in the year 2008 on the Democratic ticket, which Talking Points is now renamed the Democratic Socialist ticket. And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight. Looks like President Bush is putting Attorney General John Ashcroft and FBI Director Robert Mueller in a very difficult position. According to the New York Times today, Ashcroft and Mueller were told a few days after 9/11 about the Phoenix memo, which warned that Osama bin Laden was planning an attack against America. But Bush administration people say Ashcroft and Mueller didn't tell them about this information until just a few days ago. If that's true, should Ashcroft and Mueller be replaced? The main issue seems to be, did those men avoid telling Mr. Bush about the memo because they didn't want to be embarrassed? Joining us now from Washington is Clint Van Zandt, a former FBI agent and current Fox News contributor. And in our New York studio, Nick Gillespie, the editor-in-chief of Reason magazine. Mr. Gillespie, what say you?
Well, Bill, I think that this is a larger question than what we're talking about with this particular memo. We've been in a period since 9/11 where we really need true faith, full faith and confidence in government institutions. And what we've been finding with the Bush administration increasingly, and this memo controversy is the latest piece of evidence in this, is a pattern where they seem very unwilling to share openly knowledge that they have with the people. There's a lot of backbiting. We're getting a sense now that Ashcroft and Mueller are being hung out to dry in some way. Nobody's stepping forward and taking responsibility for what people knew and when. And this is particularly problematic because Ashcroft's impulses after 9/11 are troubling. Newsweek, and actually before, Newsweek is reporting that Ashcroft before 9/11 actually pulled resources away from counterterrorist activities, that the FBI was trying to get more agents to do counterterrorism. He pulled them away to start talking about medical marijuana issues and kiddie porn and things like that, precisely at a time where the FBI was asking for more information and more resources on this.
Mr. Van Zandt, you want to reply to that?
Sure. This memo that you referred to, Bill, this is, in all honesty, much to do about nothing. This is not the writings of Nostradamus that is going to reveal in history, you know, what has taken place and how we should have responded. This agent did a good job, but he does what every FBI agent is supposed to do, which is to have interest, to have suspicion, to gather information. So the agent went out, Bill, and he did that. And on paper, he said, you know, there's a lot of Middle Eastern students who are taking flying lessons. Maybe we should consider polling all the flight schools in the United States, finding out if there are Middle Eastern students there also, check their visa status, and see if there's something going on. The FBI didn't put that memo in a black hole like Time magazine suggests. It came up to FBI headquarters and they said, look, we're right in the middle. We're dealing with the two U.S. embassy bombings in Africa. We're dealing with the USS Cole bombing. And there is a tremendous amount of noise and intelligence that suggests the next attack is going to take place somewhere in Asia. So the FBI is sitting there saying, we have so much investigative resources, the ability to look at this. Let's devote them where there's a current crime that we're investigating and trying to prosecute.
Right.
Let's look forward to Asia.
I want to get this micro now. I don't want to, look, we've gone over this before. People can make up their own minds whether the FBI was incompetent or not. But here's the political question of the day.
Yeah.
If Ashcroft and Mueller knew 3 or 4 days after 9/11 that this memo in Phoenix did exist, shouldn't they, Mr. Van Zandt, have told Condoleezza Rice about it?
No, Bill, and let me tell you why.
No?
It was one piece. Let me tell you, it was one piece of investigative information. There were thousands coming in from every direction, and you
Mr.
know,
Van
3 or
Zandt,
4
come
days
on.
afterwards,
Bill,
the investigation was ongoing. We knew who had gone to what flight schools. This memo was past history.
This is, Bill,
let Mr. Gillespie get it.
Bill, if I can say, this is much larger than this memo.
But I don't want to do larger, Mr. Gillespie, because we don't have time to do larger.
No, what I'm saying is,
should they have told Condoleezza Rice about it?
There needs to be some repercussions to screw-ups, and there have not been in this. We have an INS.
There was not a screw-up.
There was not an attack. There was not an attack on America.
Let Mr. Gillespie go, Mr. Van Zandt.
We have an INS. We have an INS that we know is incompetent. The Department of Justice has even at this late date said, yeah, INS is incompetent. We have an FBI which is screwed up repeatedly over the past few years with various spy scandals and other things. We have an Attorney General whose first impulse after 9/11 was to call for unbelievably robust and overdone police powers.
We got that, Mr.
No,
Gillespie.
but what I'm saying is that, Bill, what's happening with the Bush administration, and you were talking about this in your previous point, we need to have full faith when we know that the government has a true enemy to fight and one that might ask us to give up, at least temporarily,
But you didn't
some of
answer
our
my
liberties.
question. I'm going to give you one more chance to answer, Mr. Gillespie. Should they have Mueller and Ashcroft that told Condoleezza Rice when they got that
One
Phoenix
wonders,
memo?
Bill, one is left wondering, what are the repercussions going to be for an agency?
I'm not going to get an answer. Go ahead, Mr. Van Zandt.
Bill,
you go ahead.
Bill, what I was
Mr.
gonna say
Van
is,
Zandt's
if
turn.
they
Mr.
shouldn't have
Gillespie, you
told-
had your chance.
If they
Mr. Van
shouldn't have
Zandt.
told us then, they shouldn't
Bottom
tell us
line
now.
is the FBI and the other agencies, you know, they have made mistakes. This gentleman wants to throw the baby and throw the United States out with the bathwater.
No,
we can't
he doesn't want to do that.
We
He
have
wants to get
put
better leadership.
As much faith and trust in these organizations, demand the very best of them. And Bill, let's not tie him up in the hearings and Xeroxing thousands of papers. Let's tell them to go out and chase
Last
terrorists.
question,
That's
Mr.
what
Van
we want them to
Zandt.
do.
Bill,
Last
if I can
question.
say
I
that
can't
what-
understand why you, Mr. Van Zandt, an experienced FBI guy, would say no, that Mueller and Ashcroft should not have told Condoleezza Rice about a memo that pinpointed, all right,
Didn't pinpoint.
9/11.
Suggested,
Well, it
Bill.
came very,
Suggested.
very close. If I were the president, I'd be so teed off, and I know Bush is teed off. I know he's furious that they didn't tell him about it. I'll give you the last word, Mr. Van
Because,
Zandt.
okay, there was no names, dates, times, and methods indicated. It was speculation on the part of a good FBI agent. That
All
was
right.
it.
Well, I'm with the president here. If I were the president, I would have hung Ashcroft out just as they did in the New York Times today.
let's talk.
Want to know. And John
Inquiring
Ashcroft and
minds
Robert
wanna know.
Mueller have a duty to tell me if they got a memo that's that close to 9/11. Gentlemen, thank you very much. We appreciate
Thank you.
it. Next on the rundown, you will not believe how easy it is for terrorists to get a United States Social Security number. And later on, Lynn Cheney on her husband and America's children. Right back.
Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service offers such low-cost shipping, you'll have enough left over to treat yourself. Spare change. Brought to you by the United States Postal Service.
Their parents all have great jobs, live in the same neighborhood, same cars, same vacations. So why will some families be paying for college while the rest are praying for scholarships? Some people already know our financial representatives excel at a lot more than life insurance. Northwestern Mutual Financial Network. Are you there yet?
Gotta go right now. Gotta go right now. Gotta go.
I have to go now.
If an overactive bladder makes you go and go and go, go to your doctor and ask about Detrol LA.
Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go.
Just one daily dose helps control bladder contractions that cause those sudden urges and reduces accidents and bathroom visits.
You need a break? Not right now.
Prescription Detrol LA. You shouldn't take it if you have stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems. The most common side effects are dry mouth, constipation, abdominal pain, and headache. Call now for free information and a money-saving offer on Detrol LA. You'll also get helpful tips on talking to your doctor about overactive bladder.
And I don't have to go right now.
Detrol LA. When you've always got to go.
The Impact segment is brought to you by Fidelity Investments, because you're not just invested, you're personally invested.
In the Impact segment tonight, a new report by the Inspector General of the Social Security Administration says that nearly 10% of foreigners in the United States are using fake documents to get Social Security numbers. But exactly how does this happen? Joining us now from Anaheim, California, is Marie Frank, the author of the book, The Identity Theft Survival Kit. All right, Ms. Frank, I'm changing my name to Guillermo. I'm from Sonora.
Hi, Guillermo.
Okay? And I sneak across the Arizona border, not hard to do, and I find my way up to Los Angeles, where I am right now. Now, I need a Social Security number. I need that to make a living, to get money. Then you take it away. How do I go about getting one?
Well, I can buy one on the street. I can go and get one. If I'm Guillermo, I can go, or you're Guillermo, you can go and get a Social Security number, and from there, once you have that, that's the key to get credit cards,
now you just told me I can buy one on the street from some guy down in the barrio, right? Who's selling them?
Right.
All right. But say I don't want to do that. Say I don't know anybody in the barrio. I don't know where to go. You know, there's got to be a way that I can do it myself. At least that's what the Inspector General is saying. How would that come about?
Okay, well, one of the ways you could do it is you could go to the Immigration Service and or you can get fake documents and go to the Social Security Administration, and they don't even know what they're looking at.
All right, now
so
when you say
a Social Security number.
All right, Ms. Frank, when you say I could get fake documents, where do I go to get? Do they have a fake document store? Is that next to 7-Eleven? Where do I get fake documents?
On the street. You can get fake documents on the street.
All right, I'm back on the street now. I'm back. All right, so what you're telling me is, once I get to Los Angeles, I got to find out who's selling bogus Social Security cards or bogus IDs, correct?
Or you may have a friend who's already stolen
No, I don't have any friends. I don't have any friends in real life, and I don't have any friends sneaking around. No, I have. But look, I'm here. I'm alone. I'm not well educated. I got some bucks, but not a lot. You telling me, you know, I have to buy
you can dumpster dive.
I can
One
dumpster
of the things
dive.
You can do with,
Tell me about dumpster diving. Tell me about that.
Dumpster diving. Okay, you can go behind somebody's house, go behind some business, and look through the dumpster diver, and you can pull out and see information about people's credit cards and their Social Security number on their bank statements. And from there, you can use that information and make, again, going to buy fake cards if you have a little bit of money. And then, again, you've got the Social Security number. Once you have that, you can go to town with it. You can commit crimes in somebody else's name. You can get in a hotel. You can get an apartment. You can get a rental car. You can buy a car. You can get a job, which is the most important thing.
All right, so once I have the bogus Social Security number, you're saying people don't really check that. So then I apply to get a credit card. Guillermo O'Reilly, I give them my Social Security number, and they send me a credit card, correct?
Right. Well, you're going to have a credit card when you have a Social Security number that is somebody else's Social Security number, because when you apply for a credit card, they're going to pull your credit report, and your credit report is going to say Guillermo O'Reilly, and there is another Guillermo O'Reilly who you've stolen their identity.
All right.
And from that Social Security number, you can create a whole profile for yourself. You're an evil twin of the other Guillermo.
All right, so most of the guys
O'Reilly.
dealing the bogus documents on the streets of Los Angeles right now, they've stolen those documents, at least from a living person, a living American, correct?
Often, yes. Well, for the terrorists, for example, they had stolen information about a living person from Saudi Arabia. That's how our terrorists committed identity theft on 9/11.
All right, so they had foreign documents because our INS then. Now, what about dead people? There's a scam going on dead people, right?
Right. There's a real problem when someone dies, even because if they have a Social Security number and the Social Security Administration does not notify the credit reporting agencies, and they don't unless there is some kind of death benefit, then of course it's very simple to steal their identity.
How is it simple,
When
though?
you have a Okay, I can just go through the obituaries in the Los Angeles Times, pull out an obituary, get the death certificate, which is a public record. The death certificate does have the Social Security number. From there,
that's interesting.
I got it.
All right, so the public record of a death certificate, you can call up in a library or something, or where do you call that up?
Well, you can go and get it. You can go and buy a public record.
You could buy it at where?
You can go on the internet. You can go on the internet, or you don't even have to go on the internet.
And they do that all the time, I guess. All right, well, it's 10% of all foreigners in the country doing this. It's outrageous. So terrorists can run wild with Social Security numbers and get credit cards and all of that. Ms. Franks, thanks very much. We appreciate it. Directly ahead, are we in danger at the airports right now? The former chief of security for the FAA says, yes, we are, in a moment.
program is brought to you by Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
At Michelin, our tires are rigorously tested. They're laser checked, X-rayed for structural integrity. And finally, no tire leaves the factory without a thorough hand inspection. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Waiting for a miracle? Wait no more. Now there's Pronto, your very own on-call assistant, live and at your service, with the instant answers that make life easier. Need driving directions? Pronto gets you there. Stuck in traffic? Pronto gets you out. Driving into a tunnel? Pronto calls you back. Pronto's your walking, talking, email-sending, full-service, toll-free super number, and it's yours for the asking. Need a market report? Pronto's up to the minute. Got a hot date? Pronto buys movie tickets. Vegetarian clients? Pronto reviews restaurants, makes reservations too. There's no buttons to push, no endless menus. It works from any phone, and it's a cinch to sign up. It's no contract. It's unlimited. It's more than just answers.
Pronto, how may I help you?
It's a solution. Pronto, your on-call assistant. Change everything you know. Try Pronto today risk-free for 30 days. Call 1-800-509-2325 to sign up now.
Well, Mr. Limbaugh, what has our little agitator been up to this week? Gluing Mrs. Brendel to her chair? Bringing in your sister's underpants for show and tell? Science project took out East Wing? Do you know where smart Alex like you end up?
On the radio?
Rush Limbaugh has moved to News Talk 620 KTLK. News Talk for the Great Northwest.
Smile. We're celebrating our anniversary here at Furniture Outlet. And this month only, we're offering some very special ways to save you money. It's the Funky Sofa Contest. Bring in a photo of your old sofa and get $50 off a new one. And the photo of the most well-used sofa wins a new sofa. Stop by Furniture Outlet and help us celebrate our anniversary. Brighten your home with a new sofa. We really are the friendly and fun place to save.
In the Unresolved Problems segment tonight, more evidence that the Federal Aviation Administration is a chaotic mess. The FAA admits it did not warn U.S. Airlines last September that accused terrorist Zacarias Moussaoui may have been part of a skyjacking operation, even though the FAA had received information about the case. Joining us now from Washington is Billy Vincent, the former security chief for the FAA from 1982 to 1986. All right, Mr. Vincent, you're convinced that the FAA is still not protecting us the way they should be. Why?
Well, it's not the FAA anymore. It's the TSA now. But the FAA didn't do the job prior to 9/11. With that flow of information, intelligence information, even though it was vague over that period of time, and then the Moussaoui cap a week or so before 9/11, they should have wakened up a long time before that and fixed some of the big holes in the system.
All right, tell me what the big holes in the system are now. I mean, obviously, hindsight is fine, and this point has been made, and I think it's a legitimate point. I mean, you know, casting blame in the past, helpful only to the extent that it fixes problems in the future. Right now, I got to take a plane tomorrow night, all right? Where is the hole there? Where is the security deficiency?
Well, first, there have been no material improvement in the security screening checkpoints for several months. And we're allowed to carry too much through those security screening checkpoints, making it doubly difficult for the screeners to find those cutting tools and knives. They're still getting through the screening points.
So
Plus,
you would be in favor of no carry-on baggage?
Oh, not at all. Restricted to strictly one item per individual, except for handicapped people, mothers with children, and so on, and restrict the size of that article to something like 9 by 16 by 22 inches. In other words, you could carry your laptop, or a lady could carry the essentials that she needs, and so on. But what we've seen under the Mineta regime since 9/11 is a meaningless security measure that said you were restricted to one item plus a personal item.
So you're telling me that I can still get a box cutter or a switchblade through security?
Highly probable that you would. I know of people who have
I know people have done it too. And it's a shame because we're all standing in line for all kinds of time, and if what you're saying is true, it's just a total waste of time. Now listen, they have now made the doors of the cockpit impenetrable on most planes, have they not?
No, that is not true. They have put a temporary fix, and even when they put the permanent fix in a few months, there's no such thing as a impenetrable door. Just like there was no such thing as a impenetrable Maginot Line.
Well, I mean, if they reinforce the door.
Of saying no guns in cockpits. That doesn't
Really?
make sense.
So you want the pilots to have guns? I think there's a safety issue there, though, isn't there?
There's a safety issue of not having guns. When you get your throat cut and the cabin crew gets their throat cut, like they did on 9/11, and we lost trillions of dollars in the world economy. Come on, 3,000 people dead. Now we've got pilots flying over D.C. in fighter airplanes ready to shoot down a commercial airline, and some of those pilots are commercial pilots off duty that we can't trust with guns in cockpit. We've trusted them with hydrogen weapons, sophisticated missile systems. Somebody isn't thinking very well.
All right, you know what I would say? I kind of agree with you here, but I would say put a third guy in the cockpit, a marshal, and have the airlines hire him, and he would carry, and be kind of a bodyguard for the whole plane. Would that work?
At 30,000 flights a day, that would take 40,000 air marshals to do that.
So what? Have the airlines hire them. They hire people all the time. Charge us another $10 a head. I'll pay it.
But they're losing a great deal of money now.
That's because they're inefficient and not very good. JetBlue's making money. You know, look, I don't feel sorry for the airlines. It's their own fault. But what's the matter with if you hire those guys to be bodyguards, hey, I'll pay $10 more a ticket. I think every American would.
But you say that you would, and I would as well. But that would be something like $4 billion added a year to do just what you said.
All right. Well,
there is a better solution.
Do it,
you don't pay the pilot to carry the gun. He's there.
I got it, Mr. Vincent. Thanks very much. We appreciate it. And the fact will return from Los Angeles in a moment.
What sets Datek apart from other online brokers? Free online trading tools. Datek gives you free real-time streaming quotes. And you can track stocks with free real-time streaming charts.
Real-time and free? I like that.
Searching for stocks that fit your trading strategy? Use the free real-time stock screener. Check valuable S&P research.
Free access to research. That helps.
And you can also get free streaming news from Dow Jones. Unlike other brokers, all online equity orders are just $9.99. And only Datek guarantees that if your marketable order is not executed within 60 seconds, the commission's waived.
Open and fund your account today and get 10 free online equity trades. Call toll-free 1-877-338-3642 or visit this special website.
Free trading tools, just part of the Datek difference.
Datek, built to trade. This is your own personal assembly line, where deals are made just for you. Like this week's special, the Compaq Presario 6000 TPC. It's got an Intel Pentium 4 processor that delivers performance where you need it most. You'll also get a monitor, 20-gig hard drive, and tons of other great features, all for just $699 after a $30 rebate. Hurry and call 1-800-329-9348, and we'll line one up for you.
A missing child.
You can't just vanish.
It is every parent's nightmare.
Where is your kid safe?
We expose the real and frightening facts and tell you how to keep your children safe.
Parents, don't let it happen to your kids.
Vanished, America's Missing Children, a Fox News Channel special. Tonight, some CEOs want to be the laughingstock of their companies. Will investing in humor training pay off? Comedian Joe Piscopo tells us tonight on Your World with Neil Cavuto.
In the Factor follow-up segment tonight, we have been reporting on the terrible Mexican border situation for quite some time, where illegal immigrants and drugs continue to stream across on a daily basis. We also told you that the Mexican army has illegally crossed into the USA on a number of occasions, and we have documented them. Now, Congressman Tom Tancredo, a Republican from Colorado, is trying to do something about that. He joins us from Washington. When was the last time the Mexican army, as far as you know, Congressman, came into the USA illegally?
Friday night at about 8:30. Although the details are somewhat sketchy at this point, here's what we know. That about 8:30 Friday night, just south of Ajo, Arizona, and about 5 miles into the United States, on our side of the border, a Mexican vehicle, a Humvee, with Mexican military inside, opened fire on on a Border Patrol agent.
Really?
A bullet passed through his window, shattered the rear window, and passed through his front window. It also shot out his tire.
Really?
Now, that is what we know. And I just heard about this about 45 minutes ago. So
How come it wasn't, the press didn't cover it? I don't know anything.
Great question. This is something that is, of course, very frustrating for all of us who are concerned about this. Bill, in the last 5 years, we have had 117 documented incursions into the United States by either Mexican military or by Mexican federal police. Our Border Patrol people say that at least 90% of these are intentional. That is to say, they're not lost. They didn't just wander across the border. 117 times. Where have we been? Where's the media attention? Where's our own government's attention to this thing?
I don't know. I mean, I had no idea that in Ajo, Arizona, that happened, and we're going to check it out tomorrow. Believe me, we're going to get down there and
Yes.
call and try to find out. Now, you wrote a letter, because we have done this story before in Texas and El Paso. They had a big shootout there. And you wrote a letter to Vicente Fox, the president of Mexico, and what happened there?
Well, I got a letter back from the ambassador of Mexico telling me that he didn't like the tone of my letter.
He didn't like the tone? What was your tone?
He said, well, I demanded to know, number one, what the Mexican government was doing about these incursions, what they were doing to stop them. He wrote back and said, well, most of these are they've all been dealt with. They're nothing very significant. Now, of course, that's the line I get even from our own State Department, because everybody's petrified of actually bringing this issue out because of these touchy relationships. And no, here's the real reason, Bill. Here's the reason why it isn't coming out. It's because if it does come out, then you see there's only one thing you can do about this, and that is to secure the border.
That's right.
And
That's right.
nobody, and that's what they don't want to do. That's absolutely right.
Absolutely right, Congressman. Now, I believe,
so frustrating, buddy.
from our research, that these Army incursions are protecting Mexican drug dealers.
So do
That's why they're coming in.
There isn't a person that you can talk to down on the border, any Border Patrol agent, any member of the Forest Service enforcement side of the border, who doesn't agree with you on that and me on that. The only people you'll get an argument from are inside this beltway, who don't want to acknowledge that. But I guarantee you that that's what they're doing here. At least a great percentage of these incursions have to deal with the Mexican military and or federal police protecting or creating a diversion so that drug shipments can get through.
That's amazing that last Friday night that a Humvee fired on a Border Patrol.
That is correct.
The whole country doesn't know about it. Can you
Yes.
imagine
Can
if
you
we
imagine?
did that to Mexico? If that our guys went in there and started shooting at the federales, and what an incident that would be.
Well,
Now,
Bill,
Congressman, are you
somebody's
getting
gonna
any
get killed
traction
here.
when you talk to your peers on the Hill about this? Does anybody care about this but you?
Yeah, some. Not enough, probably. Everybody is so uptight about this whole immigration issue. No one wants to confront it because, of course, no one on the Democrat side wants to confront it because there are votes involved. Massive numbers of immigrants coming in mean massive votes. Nobody wants to confront it on my side because we're talking about labor. You know, a lot of people on my side want cheap labor into the United States, and they don't care if they're here legally or not. And you know, between these two powerful interests, I get a hard time trying to get this issue advanced.
Well, not
Only
on this
people I have on
program.
my side are the American people.
Yeah,
the
no,
American
that's right.
people are with us.
And Congressman, every time you have something, you let us know, because we'll publicize it. We're going to check
Thanks,
out that
buddy.
Ajo incident, and maybe we'll
Please
have more
do.
on it tomorrow. We
Please
appreciate
do.
your good work, Congressman. Thanks very much.
Yours too, Bill.
Next up, Lynn Cheney, the vice president's wife, will talk about American kids, her new book, and her husband. And then more controversy over Abercrombie & Fitch. Now they're marketing thongs for little girls. Those reports upcoming.
Fox News Live, I'm Kiran Chetri. There are more terror threats at home. And although the FBI says they are unsubstantiated, they are specific to New York City. Fox's Eric Shawn has more.
The information may be unsubstantiated and uncorroborated, but officials taking no chances. It comes from those detainees down in Gitmo. They and also Abu Zubaydah, once the top aide to Osama bin Laden, talking about possible targeting the Brooklyn Bridge and the Statue of Liberty here in New York City. No surprise, really, they, after all, are high-profile landmarks. Police stepping up security, stopping and searching cars on the bridge. The Statue of Liberty Island does remain open. New York Governor George Pataki telling New Yorkers to just go about their daily lives.
We cannot allow threats to take away our freedom and our confidence.
These latest possible threats echo a 1995 plot engineered by Sheikh Abdul Rahman and his followers to try and blow up the United Nations, the Lincoln, and the Holland tunnels. It's important to note that this information is not independently confirmed. It's general in nature, but today in New York, police taking precautions. In Manhattan, Eric Shawn, Fox News.
New York City is already looking toward a somber anniversary, September 11th. Several conventions held around that time are being postponed as memorial events dominate the week.
When we made the first portable PC, we were way ahead of our time. We still are. Take this compact Presario 2800T notebook. Thin, light, powerful. With the mobile Intel Pentium 4 Processor M, you get all that and longer battery life. And this week, it comes with a free carrying case, extra battery, and there's a $50 instant rebate. So it's just $13.99. You just call 1-888-271-1430 to get yours now. Our notebooks keep getting thinner and lighter. Sure wish I was.
At FoxSports.com, our fantasy sports are just a little different. Introducing Reggie Jackson's Fantasy Baseball. Play a new game every day. Win big cash every day. Got it? Play every day, win every day. Only at FoxSports.com.
All right, ladies, hit the showers.
Peter Johnson is a cancer survivor. Few people his age survive his type of cancer. In fact, 60% of his age group that are diagnosed don't make it, which is why Peter's grandfather never misses any of Peter's games. At City of Hope, we've spent the last 50 years doing research and developing treatments to help cure life-threatening diseases like pediatric brain cancer, and we won't stop until the job is done. City of Hope, where the power of knowledge saves lives.
Set goals, follow through with a plan. It's how you win football games. It's how I've survived heart disease. Over 500,000 Americans die each year of heart disease. Enough people to fill this stadium 7 times. I'm alive today because I follow a game plan which includes a simple cholesterol test. Team up with your doctor to develop a plan that can control your cholesterol and keep you in the game. Call now for a free playbook on cholesterol and surviving heart disease and learn about the Mended Hearts, offering support to heart disease patients.
Thanks for staying with us. Bill O'Reilly in a personal story segment tonight. Lynn Cheney, the wife of Vice President Dick Cheney, in a new book just published today called America, a Patriotic Primer. Mrs. Cheney is trying to teach school kids and their families about the USA. She joins us now from our New York studio. Ms. Cheney, do you want to talk politics first or the kids first? Up to you.
Let's talk about kids, because I can't think of a more important topic.
I'm an old high school teacher, and old is the key word here. And I can't understand why you have to write a book to teach kids about history. How come the teachers aren't teaching kids about history?
Well, first of all, I didn't have to write the book. It was a sheer joy. This is a wonderful book that both the illustrator and I found just such an uplifting experience to work on. So, you know, no have to here. But it's absolutely true that our schools haven't done as good a job as they should at teaching history, and you see the statistics all the time. 57% of the high school seniors on the recent National Assessment of Educational Progress couldn't score at the basic level in terms of knowledge and understanding of history. So it's a real problem. But it seems to me that we need to address it on a larger front, that all of us are teachers. Parents are teachers, teachers are teachers, grandparents are teachers. And I think this book can be a help to
All right, so
all
it
of
takes
us
a
to tell the
village to
American
teach
story.
kids about history. But again,
Ordinarily, Bill, I wouldn't like that, but yes, I think
all
that's
right,
a good idea.
the book is like an encyclopedia, and you go A to Z, and you have the illustrations, and the kids can
Bill,
get engaged
it's a little more
and learn.
charming than an encyclopedia. It has
All right,
wonderful illustrations.
But I still don't
great
understand,
pictures,
Ms. Cheney. You
great words.
You must have thought about this. I still don't understand why our public school system, with the massive infusion of federal funds, has collapsed in the history and geography area. Do you have any theories on that?
Well, sure. I mean, one reason is something called social studies, which has been around for decades and which has basically watered down the history curriculum with lots of current day activities. When you have the history curriculum diverted in this way, it makes it very difficult for teachers to advance the cause of history. Secondly, history is often taught as though it's just one fact after another. What we really need to do is to engage kids with the story of the past. You tell them the stories of George Washington and John Adams and Thomas Jefferson and Frederick Douglass and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. These are wonderful stories, and I hope this book will encourage the kind of storytelling.
And we encourage all parents to pick this book up because it certainly helps their children. Now, do you think political correctness has hurt the teaching of history in our public schools in a sense now that in some areas George Washington's a bad guy, Abraham Lincoln didn't really want to free the slaves, Thomas Jefferson was having a kid by a slave. You see what I mean? In a lot of areas now, the icons that we grew up with aren't heroes anymore.
I couldn't agree with you more. I went through a battle myself several years ago when national history standards were proposed that basically gave George Washington a passing mention and didn't even mention many of the key figures of our history, not just in political life, but people like Thomas Edison weren't even mentioned. So we need to teach that history. I do think, though, we also need to teach the history that shows that we have made progress in this country and have an ever more inclusive idea of what we mean when we say we the people.
All right. Because I think that PC has really hurt the history industry and teaching it, because I think teachers now are trying to make the kids feel good rather than instruct them on the toughness that it took to become a free nation, the sacrifice it took to free the slaves.
But there's a lot of, I think that it can really be uplifting to a little kid to read about George Washington.
Sure, it's fun. I loved it.
Exactly. So
you can make it an adventure. Davy Crockett, remember him with Walt Disney and a coonskin cap? You can make it a come alive.
People
little
not kids feel good with history.
Do you talk history with your husband?
Well, sure. I mean, he's perhaps a bigger history buff than I am, and I've paid a lot of attention to it.
I got an issue with your husband. I want to get your opinion. I'm sure you're going to think. Feel free to tell me that I'm out of line or whatever. It looks to me like the vice president is a guy who does not believe in open government in the sense that he has a meeting with the energy people. He won't tell us who he meets with. He gets some information about terrorism, although I think the administration's learned its lesson on this one. And he didn't feel that it was of great need to tell the American public because it was non-specific information. And that could be true. I mean, I'm not privy to what he knew. But I want open government. See, as an American citizen, I want to know who met with him and who's giving him advice on energy. I want to know if some Osama bin Laden guy is going to come here and blow up planes. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that your characterization of Dick is entirely wrong. He spent an enormous amount of his life in government, which, Bill, have you? I'm not sure what your experience base here is, but being in government and watching the steady erosion of the power of the presidency, watching the gradual encroachment of the Congress into the power of the presidency, he feels very strongly that we do need a chief executive that has a full range of power, and that's particularly the case when it comes to issues of national security. We cannot be giving out, as I heard Dick say this weekend, the president's daily briefing. We cannot be giving out memos that are classified. It might be of...
but I think every clear-thinking American agrees with you and the vice president on that. Nobody's demanding classified information. What we want to know is if we're in danger, Mrs. Cheney, I want to know who's threatening me on a general basis, and if there's anything at all I can do with it. See, alert. I want an alert. And on the energy front...
You're getting them.
On the energy front, can you tell me why I shouldn't have the right to know who meets with your husband on energy matters?
Bill, let's just not get off that other topic too quickly. What exactly is your complaint? What exactly is it that you haven't been told that you think you should have been told?
Well, last summer, I'll tell you what. If they put the government on high alert in July, and they did, I think American people should have known the government was on high alert.
The American people's ability to know things, I think, has been well served. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about on high alert, but it's certainly the case that the proper agencies were informed that there was a hijacking threat.
See, they were informed and we weren't. And the fact of the matter is, if you had 300 million Americans saying, something might happen, 10% of those people might have stayed in the basement, and that's fine. We don't need them. But the other 270 million might have been on more of an alert. We might have been looking around a little bit more. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to know secrets. I don't want to put anything in jeopardy, but I do think you have to have faith in the people. I'll give you the last word, Mrs. Cheney.
Well, I think the last word on this should be that the government is putting out alerts now and receiving criticism for having done it. I think they're doing exactly the right thing. I think the important thing here is that we have a government, and we're lucky as Americans that we've had presidents, even when we disagree with them, that we know have our interests in mind, and President Bush certainly does.
Okay.
He's not going to take...
and you do too, Mrs. Cheney, because this book is very, very helpful to any American student. We recommend it highly.
I'm glad to have that closing word, Bill.
Okay, thanks for coming in. When we come back from Los Angeles, more anger directed at Abercrombie & Fitch, this time about marketing thongs for young girls.
It was not my dream to realize this day. The day a father watched his daughter start at Juilliard. But I embraced that dream with unwavering attention and made it my own, because that was the dream of my client. And that's what I do at Morgan Stanley. One client at a time.
The lawn will look great by the time you get back, I promise.
It'll take a new lawn to keep that promise.
Your grass got you down? Keep that promise with the new and affordable lawn exchange from ProGrass. ProGrass, your Northwest lawn experts for decades, are pros at turning trouble lawns into gorgeous grass. Lawn exchange is affordable and fast. We're done in a day. Your new lawn is just a call away, so order the lawn exchange at 800 ProGrass. ProGrass, we build lawns from the ground up.
Hi, it's Pam Paulette at City Liquidators Furniture Warehouse, where you'll find a great selection on children's furniture like metal bunk beds at $129 or this Sweetheart bunk bed at $199. What about a futon bunk bed? Only $189. Or this Mission Wood bunk bed for $349. Save money on mattresses like twin mats from $59 or a queen pillow top mattress and box, both pieces only $399. City Liquidators saves you money.
Going without. Something fewer are coping with, thanks to Oregon Food Bank and support from the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde and Spirit Mountain Community Fund.
Because of Emmanuel Children's Hospital, I'm healthy. I'm stronger. I can walk again.
Because of Emmanuel Children's Hospital,
My heart is better. My sister can play with me again. I can breathe better now.
because of Emmanuel Children's Hospital,
My brother just turned 9. Because of
Emmanuel Children's Hospital,
I can play basketball. I'm alive.
You survived. Because of Emmanuel Children's Hospital, my cancer went away.
the back of the book segment tonight, the national clothing chain Abercrombie & Fitch is causing more trouble. Last year, we told you about their racy catalog, which some considered softcore pornography. Now they have a thong they want to sell to girls ages 10 to 16. On these thongs, read the words eye candy and wink, wink. Some say this is wrong, wrong. Joining us now from Chicago is Corinne Wood, the Lieutenant Governor of Illinois, who is a critic of Abercrombie & Fitch. You know, this is a double-edged sword, as you know, Ms. Wood, because we publicize them. We give them, you know, people run out, get their catalog, and maybe look at these thongs. But on the other hand, there just seems to be something very decadent and perhaps corrupting about Abercrombie & Fitch's approach to this whole deal. Am I wrong?
Well, I think there is something very wrong with Abercrombie's approach, and that's that they're using sex to market their product to our children. And whether or not it's been in their catalogs, which have nude photos, sexually compromising positions, or now whether it's marketing thong underwear to girls as young as 8 years old, I think that we have a responsibility as parents not to let our children wear that. But more importantly, I think Abercrombie should be a good corporate citizen, responsible marketing practices.
All right, now they don't want to come on here, of course, because they get destroyed, and so they issue statements. And their statement is, the underwear for young girls was created with the intent to be lighthearted and cute. Any misrepresentation of that is purely in the eye of the beholder. So basically they're saying that you and me, because I feel pretty much the same way you do about it, particularly with the wink wink and eye candy stuff. I mean, I think that's way beyond the pale. They think that we're prudes and all of this. That's what they're throwing at us. How do you respond?
Well, I think that they're absolutely wrong. The fact is that not only in Illinois have we passed a resolution in the General Assembly, but now I believe in Oklahoma their General Assembly has passed a resolution calling on Abercrombie & Fitch to stop marketing this soft porn and this sexualization of their product to our children. We actually set up a website, stopandf.com, and have asked people to sign our online petition if they agree that Abercrombie's crossed the line and not to shop.
All right,
to date, we have more than 30,000 signatures.
All of that is good, but Abercrombie doesn't seem to, you know, we went over this last summer with their explicit catalog. They won't talk to you, correct?
I have written Chairman Jeffries, and I have not heard back from him yet. I do know their Public Relations Department is busy responding. And yes, they are getting publicity, but I think the publicity they're getting is bad publicity. And when most, at least parents, become aware of what's in these catalogs and how this retailer is marketing to our children, most parents are appalled, and that's why they've been joining the boycott.
All right. Now, you want no American to buy anything from Abercrombie & Fitch?
Well, first of all, we're asking people to log on to our website, stopandf.com, so we can turn the signatures in before their annual meeting that's, I believe, coming up this week, so we can send a united voice that our children are not for sale, and they shouldn't be marketing sex to our children. And we're also asking parents and concerned citizens not to patronize a store. One way, obviously, to have our voices heard is to affect their bottom line.
All right.
And
now, are we overdoing it because of the thong thing? Do you think thongs are a danger to 10-year-old girls?
Why, it's not just simply a thong. It's also the marketing of the catalogs, the nude photos, the interviews with porn stars. Not too long ago, in fact, Abercrombie was even called on the carpet for some ethnic slurs. So this is a company that seems to have no regard for our children and no regard perhaps for even some ethnic groups. And I don't think we should be patronizing stores like that.
All right, and we might point out that Abercrombie & Fitch, they do market to teenagers. That's who's in that store primarily to get the gear that they have. Now, is there anything legally you can do as a Lieutenant Governor of Illinois? I mean, they don't seem to be breaking any laws.
Well, the real question is, by putting these materials in the catalogs, if it's considered to be pornography. And we first
it's not, though, Ms. Wood. I don't think you're going to get anywhere there. They do it in a way that, you know, I don't think any court would say it's pornography. You know, it's softcore.
Softcore, but when they first brought it out, they didn't even shrink wrap the catalog or require an ID, and it was under threat of, I believe, an injunction from the Attorney General in Michigan that Abercrombie then finally said, okay, we're going to try and restrict access. Now, it hasn't been very successful. They're still marketing a lifestyle to children, and obviously now they're marketing directly certain products to young children.
Yeah, they certainly are. There's no question about that.
And you just have to say enough.
It's a young, with it, libertine lifestyle that they're presenting. Now, you have 3 daughters, right?
I have 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter.
Oh, 2. I'm sorry. I thought you had 3 daughters. Now, how old is your daughter?
My oldest daughter is now 17, and my youngest daughter is almost 13.
All right.
And
do they go to Abercrombie & Fitch? What do they think about this?
No, they don't go to Abercrombie & Fitch, and it was because it was about 3 years ago when one of the Abercrombie catalogs invaded our household and we saw what was in it. We made the determination as parents that we weren't going to shop in a store like that. There were plenty of other stores that could take our money and our children could buy their clothes.
Do they support you on this? Are they with you on this?
Well, I think they know that what Abercrombie has done is crossed the line, and at least they know that we have set a boundary for them.
All right. Yeah, I mean, the thong thing for 10-year-olds, that's a little beyond the pale. Lieutenant Governor, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Next, we will wrap things up with the most ridiculous item of the day and some of your mail.
Legend reborn. Cadillac CTS. Breakthrough.
Experience the new National Geographic Channel. Spectacular new shows. Around-the-clock adventure. The continuing story of life on Earth every day of the week. A new channel. National Geographic. Log on to nationalgeographic.com and request the new NGC. Always wonder.
Mr. Murphy, Ed McMahon. We're starting up the neighborhood watch in this area, and here's all.
Stevie, get down here, please.
No, it's just
5, 6, 7, 8.
That's really cute.
Start a neighborhood watch. It's just one of the many ways you can help make America stronger. To find out how, call or log on for this free guide.
Your World with Neil Cavuto.
Our business news is for Main Street, not Wall Street.
Direct and on target.
Simply put, clearly illustrated, and in English.
Interviews with powerful politicos and the street's elite.
We're not pulling any punches.
Know Your World with Neil Cavuto.
It's not just about making money. It's about making sense.
On the network America trusts for fair and balanced business news. We are Fox News Channel.
Time now for the most ridiculous item of the day. More trouble in the Middle East, but not the kind we're used to. It's so hot over there, chickens are overheating and dying in their pens before they're plump enough to be eaten. So scientists at Israel's Hebrew University have crossbred a featherless fowl with a broiler chicken in an effort to create a succulent bearskin bird. Look at these birds. The red-skinned chickens may look a little odd, oh yeah, but their lack of feathers keeps them cooler, makes feather plucking a thing of the past. No word yet from the chicken rights people or Frank Perdue, but one thing is clear, these things look ridiculous. Finally tonight, the mail. Marianne DePaul, Mount Prospect, Illinois. O'Reilly, if you want all the secret intelligence info, run for office. If you don't do that, cool it. Hey, Marianne, what do you think this is? My job is to bring you information. Cooling it gets us nowhere. If you don't want to know, fine. But many Americans do want a heads up on terrorist threats, and that's what they're going to get from us. Jan McAllister, Washougal, Washington. O'Reilly, you are a creep. Vice President Cheney is not a secret person. He said very clearly he cannot tell the press everything because lives are at stake. And Ms. McAllister, are lives at stake in the energy talks as well? Come on. Mr. Cheney does not particularly believe in open government. And that's fine. But many Americans disagree with him on that issue. Jamie Sanders, South Euclid, Ohio. Mr. O'Reilly, used to think my political persuasions lean toward liberal, but I agree with you on many things. Maybe I'm becoming increasingly conservative. Mr. Sanders, maybe you're becoming increasingly independent. The Factor is not an ideological program. Carol Bleskowski, Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, Bill, saw you on Leno last night. As usual, you're right. I do want to know about threats to our country. Philip Hubble, Carrollton, Texas. Bill, on the Leno show, you sounded like a total idiot. Warn the people so we can do what? So we can be alert. Mr. Hubble, alert. It's a simple but pithy word. Kathy Land, Westminster, California. O'Reilly, you are in the forefront of bashing Catholicism. Enough with your agenda. Move on. I'm not moving anywhere, Miss Land. We are going to make it very difficult for any person in this country to molest children. And I don't care what religion they are. Tom Missler, Edgewood, Kentucky. O'Reilly, if you really want to be fair and balanced, do a program featuring some of the good, honest priests. We've had many of them on this program, Mr. Missler. But again, it's my job to cover the news, and that's what we're going to do. Ralph Verno, Westchester, Pennsylvania. Bill, you are not critical enough of the Pope. He is not doing enough to correct this terrible situation. Mr. Verno, I believe the Pope is very ill, and I'm not going to criticize him because of that condition. And Shaw, St. Petersburg, Florida. Mr. O'Reilly, you had the opportunity last night on the Leno show to put forth a softer, less opinionated side. You didn't. And Jorge Sanchez, Las Vegas. Mr. O'Reilly, I don't know why some people find you arrogant. Because, Mr. Sanchez, I sometimes am very passionate in my opinions, and that can be mistaken for arrogance. How about that website, www.foxnews.com/O'Reilly. All right, the clock is ticking down for signed books for Father's Day. No Spin Zone, O'Reilly Factor books, perfect gift. Your dad will love it, and if you don't like your dad, maybe you give it to him because he won't like it. How about emailing us with some pithy comments, O'Reilly@foxnews.com. O'Reilly@foxnews.com. Name in town if you wish to opine. And that is it for us today. As always, we thank you for watching. Up next, Annie and Combs, Senator Evan Bayh. I'm Bill O'Reilly reporting from Los Angeles. See you next time, and remember, the spin stops here.
Next on Special Report, Rumsfeld says terrorists will get nuclear weapons, and he says al-Qaeda is active in this country. New York says the Statue of Liberty and Brooklyn Bridge are threatened.